home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore Positive. We are positively here at Costas. I have some special iced tea here with a lime and a lemon in it. We're here in the heart of Dundalklandia. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. I have the Magic 8-Ball here. And if you would have told me in the winter of 1989, if you would have rubbed the little Magic 8-Ball when I lived on Kane Street right by Patterson High School and said that my point guard would grow up to be a lifer coach in Bino Ranson, he is here today. And Greg Szczepaniak, am I saying it right?
That's pretty good. That's better than most of my relatives.
How can I say it?
Szczepaniak, yeah.
I did say it right.
I did. I gave you a compliment.
Greg is a longtime listener,
Simmer
helper.
down now.
You're a little bit of like the Mr. Rogers. I look for the helpers. Greg is one of the helpers. Very connected to real estate in the Canton area. Since Scunny has passed, he now runs Canton Square for all things charitable as well as March Madness. If you need to buy or sell a home, call Greg Szczepaniak with
Cummings and Company Realtors.
All right, just make sure I get that in there. Is that good?
Our blue and gold for our loyal Dons. That's our broker, Dave Cummings.
So, Bino, this is serendipitous. I don't know if they taught you that at St. Francis or up at Southern New Hampshire College, but it just means it's just a blessing to have people together. That Greg texted me and invited himself onto the show about 2 hours ago. He's like, I'll be over around 2:45 because I've been inviting him on.
Is that how my text sounds?
No, but Greg, the reason you're here today, you got your ball cap on, you got your shirt on. You're here representing something very, very special today that really pertains to Bino and I's relationship and going back. Tell everybody why you're here today, not on behalf of Cummings or the Realtors in Canton, Maryland. You're here because your kid plays Little League.
Exactly, yeah. So South Baltimore Little League on the peninsula down in Locust Point. It's been around since 1957. My boys have been playing there since 2021. The growth and the way that these kids have developed, since my boys have been there is really something special. We have over 600 kids, baseball and
600 baseball players in the middle of the city.
That's nice. Yes. So just amazing between Brendan O'Brien, our president, and the board, the men and women on the board, the moms and dads that are out there doing the drills. We run a skills and drills. Also got Matt Blood to thank for that, for the Baltimore Orioles.
What's the skills and drills here? What are we doing?
So skills and drills.
Because I once, at Patterson Park, I won pitch, hit, and run, right? Tom McCann did pitch, hit, and I got a little plaque. I went out to the stadium. I got walloped out there, but I won.
Tom McCann?
Yeah, they sponsored pitch, hit, and run.
Tom McCann.
Tom McCann, well, it said that right on the plaque. Tom McCann in Highlandtown. It's pitch, hit, and run. And then, well, if you remember, football was punt, pass, and kick.
Punt, pass, and kick.
Right, well, there you go.
And then basketball was dribble and shoot.
Dribble and shoot.
Dribble, pass, and shoot.
Dribble, pass, and shoot.
Yep.
All right, so is it run? Is it pitch, hit, and run?
So
is that what it is?
I'll explain to you. Picture the Orioles at spring training. Then having 8 to 10 different stations of drills, every 10 minutes rotating.
Okay.
So
it's a fielding drill. It's a throwing drill, right? Okay.
So
got
it's first station. There'll be kids playing wall ball, throwing the ground balls, and we'll be playing knockout. So you don't miss. Whoever misses the ground ball is out. Next drill, medicine ball, throwing that. Next drill, sprints. Next drill, and so they'll split the kids up in groups of like 4 or 5. And they'll do drills for 10 minutes apiece to keep their attention, because your attention span for younger guys.
This is what I did when you were 11, right? This is exactly. We got up early. We did that, right?
What did we have when we were?
We didn't do that.
No, we took 15 swings and then went to right field.
This sounds like an academy you're running right now.
We're building like a baseball army.
I was barely.
That's what it is.
Listen,
that's like a real training camp.
It's basically a lot of the same drills that the Orioles and most of the major league teams do. Yeah, so we got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids running around.
Well, it didn't run that way at the Golden Ring Middle School in 1989 when I met Bino. So you don't know this story, right? Did I coach Bino? Do you know this?
I did not know that. No.
All right, so that's why I'm recapping this, because in the first segment we discussed this, but I left the party. So I fed Bino, fattened him up. I got him half and half soup here at Costas, and I get him a broiled crab cake because he's trying to stay trim because he's 50 now. Give your side of the story about the drills I ran you through when you were 10, 11, when I met you as a boy. I coached one basketball team in my life, and this was my star player right here.
Well, Nestor, you know what? I got to be honest. He was a great coach. Him and the head coach, they were great coaches. And
so did he give you the ball and he got out of the way?
Yeah,
and
that's what
you had to do.
Yeah, that's what some of the great coaches do. They give the ball to their best players, and the best coaching is done when the best player do what he's doing. You know, so
My best coaching was, Bino, pass the damn ball. That was my best coaching.
But
That's how it
no,
worked.
we had some good Saturday mornings. And one thing I say, I got to be totally honest. Nestor, you know, he was on time. He was on time, target, and task. He was there every Saturday, and he poured into the kids.
I did.
And
I love you guys.
He was into it, and I just got to give my guy Gerard Rucker a shout out. We got to get him on the show,
Please.
because he's doing something similar with kids down at this gym called Winterterry in Laurel. Whereas though he has it's basically his own basketball academy, and he's doing some great things, and he mentored Bub Carrington, who starts with the Washington Wizards. Now he was a first-round draft pick. He was 14th pick in the draft. I'm really close with the family, so I'd be remiss if I didn't give my guy a shout-out.
Nice.
And we got to get him on the show because he's doing something similar here with the South Baltimore Baseball League, that's a great feel. I ride past because it's a crab place right across the street, right?
Right.
LP Steamers.
LP Steamers.
Oh,
is
I
right
love
there.
it.
We've done the
Love
show
it.
over
Oh,
there.
I love it.
Good
I
man
love
over
it.
there as well.
I love it.
So this is how Baltimore comes together. I'm a kid from Dundalk. My buddy from Overley, Mike Fountain, in 1989. We were drinking buddies. I had a place on Kane Street. We chased girls. We drank all night listening to U2. And Fountain said, we're going to coach a boys basketball team on Saturday morning. I'm like, Fountain, I don't even wake up till Saturday afternoon. This was 8 a.m. at the Golden Ring, right by Golden Ring High.
Is this something you guys wanted to do, or was this court ordered, or what was this?
Court order. I like that.
This is
Are you getting in trouble, Nestor?
Fountain had a thing that he wanted to coach, and he wanted me to be a part. I'm like, okay, man, I'll do it, you know. And what it really turned out to be was how we could drink until 3 or 4 in the morning because we were 21, and wake up sometime between 7 and 7:15 and get through the drive-through at the McDonald's on Route 40 across from the mall, and then navigate past the movie theater into the mall to get to Philadelphia Road, make the left-hand turn, and get over. And we would get to the gym, and the kids are all waiting in their cars with their parents. We would come out and have a bag of McDonald's. That's not a free plug for you.
It was called a big breakfast: pancake, sausage, an egg, and orange juice.
It's probably about what, $2
And
back
always
then too?
you had the grape
Now
or
it's
the
about
strawberry.
$19. Yeah.
$2.79.
Yeah.
That's if you upsize.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and eat my McDonald's just to try to wash away the Coors Light from the night before. And Bino was our best player, and we were 6 teams in the league. So this is how good a player he was. We watched them all dribble and to scout them, and he was amphibious. He could go left, right, left, you know. So we took him, but when we took him, we didn't get another pick until like 12th because you pick 1,
Right,
6, 6.
snake
So
draft
to
there.
take him was like, man, you know, you got the first pick in the draft. You better be my diamond stone. You know
Well,
what I mean?
you know what?
Did you have him signed already before you picked him, or no?
Well, I had him for 4 months. Not
Yeah, but hey, one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. You know, you got a good return on your investment.
Oh, I did. I just bought him a crab cake to get even all these years later. But it does come that my buddy dragged me into coaching. I meet this kid. This kid winds up coaching hundreds, if not thousands of kids. You walk in the door, you saw him, you're like, oh, I know him. You know him in a different way, right? Yeah. He told the whole story of Patsos. You have a Loyola basketball. The minute you saw him, you guys know people.
But
together.
there's a piece that we're missing, too, that all ties this together.
Go ahead.
So after you would coach us, you would haul tail down to the Maryland games. And next thing you know, I coached at Maryland for 11 years.
I did go to Maryland games all the time then, that period of time. Yeah. I mean, that's Brian Williams era.
Brian Williams, Rudy Archer, Tony Massenberg.
Walt was about to get there.
Walt wasn't there yet. Brian Williams, Dave Dickerson.
The brothers, we have brothers too.
Cedric and Derek Lewis.
There you go.
And they had the team that year. They had the team. Coach Wade did a great job. They went to the NCAA tournament that year. They lost to Kentucky in the second round. In
Rex
round
Chapman,
32.
I remember that.
Rex Chapman, LaRon
Wait,
Ellis.
12th man on the bench, Mitch Kasoff. Right?
Mitch Kasoff
from Pikesville.
Pikesville High School.
Everybody's getting a shout out here today.
Yep.
Give Sablehouse a shout out too.
Bobby Sablehouse, he was a good quarterback with the
here?
McDonough, went to Florida. I know the whole
Man,
story.
see, what happens is when we bring these eras of legitimate people together here, we can sit here and talk about Baltimore sports all day. All day long.
Because you know what? Baltimore is one of those areas, you know, that produces a lot of great athletes. You know, we talked about Michael Phelps. That's
sure.
swimming.
My neighbor lives 60 feet across the street from me, from like 2011 to 2016.
Wow.
Yeah. We weren't buddies. He just did his thing, sort of just walked his dog, kept to himself. But
who Phelps?
Lived right across the street from me in
Wow.
Canton. Yeah.
Well, he's out in Arizona now. I saw him on the game the other day. He's got kids. You got kids, right?
Yep.
I mean, your kid's going to be a big star, right?
Yeah, this is my son calling me right now. Let's see what he got to say.
Oh, no.
BJ, what's up, buddy?
buddy?
I'm on the air, BJ. I got to go.
All right. We call you back.
We call you back,
We'll call
BJ.
you back.
All right.
I'm coaching the coach.
Yeah.
All right,
I
there we
wanted to
go.
hear about
It's
that
okay.
game-winning shot in the Catholic League tournament. The next time.
Yeah,
All
next
right.
time. Yep.
Bino Ranson's here. Greg Szczepaniak's here. I've lost control of things. We're at Costas. I promised Bino number 30. You want 28 or 29? Ken Singleton. I think you're at 29.
Oh, Singy. Yep.
So
Used to live off
it's all
Rifle
brought to you
Falls
by
Road.
the Maryland Lottery. We're at Costas. Little League and kids in playing. So important to you with your kids and your kids as well.
Yes.
The pipeline and what I will find if my child ever produces children, every time I talk to anybody in sports, and this even speaks a little bit to Michael Phelps the other day, because they were talking, Ben McDonald said something early in the broadcast to like, if somebody tells your kid to go to one sport, tell them to run, right? Like, you should be 2-sport, 3-sport, do all of that. Then Michael Phelps comes in and says, well, I played baseball till I was 11, and they told me to get in the pool, right? I mean, right? So same thing for you. I mean, you played basketball and specialize in basketball. Your kids are smaller now and playing Little League and whatnot. You told me you got these kids running drills at 9 years old, right? Like in a way that he and I are
6 and
laughing
7.
about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like
Awesome.
it feels very academy, and I don't mean to be hoity-toity and being a Dundalk guy, because my dad was like Ken back here. My dad had a clicker in his pocket. My dad was an umpire, a coach. We were the neighborhood that had the bag with all the catcher's equipment, the bats. My dad was a manager. My dad was there picking up the teams in Eastwood and Colgate and all of that. My dad was a community leader. My dad led me to want to coach a kid like you. My father was alive when I coached you. So my dad thought that was the greatest thing in the world that I was coaching, right, at that point. But there is something about it that's really greasy to me when I see these soccer academies and kids going out, pay to play, travel. Travel used to mean something. Now there's no house leagues. Maybe your thing's different. It is different. But there's not enough of that. I had Mark Viviano on last week. Told me he's got like 160 kids down at Severna Park playing Little League, and he plugged your event. He plugged what's going on at South Baltimore Little League. Is that happening in basketball, Bino, around here in a different kind of way than maybe it did when you were in Sedonia and you had a knucklehead like me half hungover trying to get you out on the court when you were 11?
To be totally honest, no. It's kind of gone away. And we need it back. That's why I referenced my guy Gerard Rucker. He's trying to do that because if you remember, we had BNBL back in the day,
Sure,
which was a Baltimore neighborhood basketball league, which
and they played at Oliver and Kirk. They played at all these places, right?
Each neighborhood had a BNBL team, so you were proud to play for your neighborhood team. Now you had some other areas which was known to have really good BNBL teams. So besides their locals in their neighborhood, they would open up the tryouts. Now back then it was only 10 jerseys. Okay, it was only 10 BNBL jerseys, and they, obviously they were sponsored by Bethlehem Steel. They were sponsored by the Baltimore Sun, Chevrolet, and they had sponsorship. And it was only 10 jerseys, and you had to sign a contract. And it was 2 rounds. First round, 5 games. Second round, 5 games, and then you go citywide. They don't have that anymore, and that's something that we need to bring back. That
was structure.
It was structure, which we grew up with structure, right? So now,
absolutely, yeah.
Now, as you see, I'm saying this, they don't have that, and you see a lot of bouncing around. You see, you don't see loyalty.
Come play for me.
Yeah, come play for me.
Well,
or
Wild West, right?
Yeah, Wild West. And then
yep.
to your point in terms of this whole paying thing, like my son plays lacrosse. That it costs. Is a big number to
lacrosse and hockey. My boys don't play either of those, but it's through the roof. Both of those, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like basketball was a game of the street because all you needed was a hoop in a neighborhood. Soccer was kind of that in Highlandtown and places where immigrant kids played that we didn't play at my neighborhood. Baseball, man, you had You had to pick up sides. You had to play pitch out, you know, to play in the neighborhood. We played pickup baseball, pickup basketball, pickup football in my neighborhood. Nobody ever had a lacrosse stick. But, like, one thing that's interesting for me is I see golf, right? It's a big golf weekend and Masters is on. And my partners at Classic 5, we talk about, like, Mount Pleasant and Forest Park and places people can play. Sparrows Point Country Clubs, I can hit a golf ball from here to it. In Dundalk, I had no access to lacrosse, no access to hockey, although I loved it, right? No, there's just sports you just did not have any access to. If you were a skate punk, Bucky's pictures on the wall here, they threw you out of the neighborhood because there was nowhere to skate. Now, you laugh at that. Your kids would laugh at that if they want to go skateboarding, that it's like what rebels do, right? Like, but it was really ostracized, not to mention a racial component of the city and basketball and black kids walking a white neighborhood, and all that. We grew up with all that. But the structure part of kids playing sports together, it wasn't like, well, we can't afford to play.
Yeah.
Little League was affordable in every neighborhood, and even the kids that had food stamps in my neighborhood, we found a way to get those kids on Little League teams.
It was welcome. It
was inclusive. It was literally inclusive.
There's no doubt about it.
And if I could just jump in about South Baltimore Little League again. So what you were saying before about these academies and baseball factories, like I was joking about building a baseball army, but nothing could be further from the truth as far as what you were saying about some of these other places in Baltimore, the South Baltimore Little League. So it's about it's like $160 or $180, I think, to get your kids to play. You get a full uniform with that. Where else was I going with that?
Well, you mentioned sponsors. This is part of the underwriting.
Yeah, so that's right. So we have a lot
of
local sponsors that are in as well too. And these the skills and drills that we're doing, what we're trying to do is we have a limited amount of fields. So we have 4 fields on Ford Avenue. Now we've been fortunate enough to get some time at Patterson Park. We got kids playing at Swan Park. We're starting to branch out with 600 baseball and softball players, but because the teams can't really afford to take up the field to have their own practice, so we're trying to lift all these kids up together, get them together in different groups, like 6 to 8 year olds. Like one night we'll do these skills and drills, then the 9s to like 11 or 12, and then you got like the 13 to 14 year olds. So we're trying to get as much quality time in with the kids.
Well, if they don't get better, they won't want to play.
Right. And we're trying to lift everyone up, together, make everybody better.
And listen, that's a great thing what you guys doing, because I think anything that's great must have a foundation. Must have a foundation in what you guys are doing in terms of those skills and drills. You'd be surprised how much they come into play when they get to a high level. Like, it's the little things that makes the big difference.
You learn the right way. Like getting a golf lesson, just like that. Yeah. Greg Szczepaniak is here. He is a local realtor. Give everybody your realty speech so you can get that part in here.
Sure. So
I need him to sell houses.
Yeah, so Cummings & Company Realtors here, 18 years in the biz. A couple quick things for everybody. This is good information for you. So 4 reasons we're in lower inventory market now. We have been since pre-COVID. Number 1, over 70% of the people out there have a 5% interest rate or lower.
So they don't want to move.
They don't want to move. Almost 50% have 4% or lower, so they don't want to trade up to a bigger rate. Number 2, you got the millennial market. The 25 to 40-year-olds are the second biggest market behind the boomers.
First-time buyers.
First-time buyers, so there's a pent-up demand for that. Number 3, I don't have my sheet for this, but there's a 50-year average of homes that have been built. When buyers stopped buying in 07, 08, 09, builders stopped building. They put their foot on the brake. And then things started to level out, and then we started to come back up. So this sort of upside-down triangle, again, I wish I had my graph here. We're trying to make up for inventory from 07 to 21 that was well below this 50-year average.
Places weren't built 15 years ago, what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Yes. So
COVID also probably slowed things down dramatically, right?
Right. And then number 4 is the investor market. So you got your local investors and you got your big asset managers who are like the rental market is so hot, they're not looking to buy properties and flip them. They're looking to turn everybody into renters because the returns on investment are so strong. So because of those 4 reasons, that's why we've been in this reduced current active inventory market right now. And, I mean, the real estate market throughout time, there's ebbs and flows.
What's the rate right now?
Probably, I mean, looking at I had some clients a few days ago. They were getting 6.25, then it jumped up to 6.5.
Yeah, I was going to say high 6s is what I thought.
So I sort of keep my finger on the pulse of that. But the lenders that I work with, they're on it every minute of every day because it can change anytime. So I stay in my lane with.
If it goes to 5.5 9.5 that would mean something, right? Just to get below 6, right? That would.
So that's the thing. Is like my buyers that are sort of sitting on the sidelines waiting for the rates to go back to 4 or 5. We still have this. So right now, the average inventory. So when a market's in equilibrium, there's 6 months of inventory out there, which means if no other homes come on the market, what's out there will sell in 6 months. Since COVID and pre-COVID, we've been bouncing back and forth from as low as like a half a month of inventory to about 3 or 3.5 months of
That's
inventory.
not normal.
No, so we're well below that. So it's still more of a seller's market. So the buyers that are waiting for the rates to go down, if it's still pretty competitive right now at 6.5, what do you think it's going to be at 6? What do you think it's going to be at 5.75 if it goes down? You're going to have more people going after this and bidding the properties, bidding prices up, if that makes sense. So because in interest rates and home prices, usually there's an inverse relationship. As money gets cheaper, rates go down, the people will pay more for a property. And
Baltimore's still considered to be a great value place, right? It's not an expensive place to live. As much as the Republicans scream about the taxes, and I'll hear all of that, and I saw Westmore 2 weeks ago, gave me a piece of my mind too, but it's still a desirable. From a real estate standpoint, Baltimore specifically is desirable.
You're asking a lifelong Baltimore guy and realtor? Absolutely. So, Baltimore City, a lot to offer.
Strong bones. I love talking about that.
Yeah, we live in Canton, a couple of blocks from the water. We got Patterson Park, 5 blocks to the north. As I mentioned, like this amazing South Baltimore Little League. We just got to go through the tunnel to get there. So we're 1 block from the Safeway. So we got our grocery stores. So parks all over the place. So.
I'm going to get Bino to give a final thing here on why I'm going to hire you to be my coach. So I got to get you employed, get you back to Maryland, get you back here doing what you do. And it's a good, interesting time for you because you spend a lot of time with your kids now, right?
Absolutely.
So what will you find with a new gig, and where's the strength in doing what you do for a living, your whole living in this NIL world where things have really, really changed in your job category? Sort of like me as a sports radio guy.
Well, I would
podcaster now, they call me.
I would just say, as far as me, I'm just a well-rounded guy. First of all, I'm a loyal guy because you need loyalty.
By the way, Len Elmore came on this week, and the one thing he said about Maryland is we don't have guys loyal to Maryland. He talked about Gary. Gary was all about Maryland. That's all he cared about. Once you got here, that was all you cared. I mean, you made it through 2 coaches. For crying out loud.
I grew up a Terp. So I know the Terp history, and but I was just saying, just being a loyal person, being passionate about what you do, just being just knowledgeable of everything, their entire business. And just someone that's just going to get after it every day, being an everyday guy, and obviously we know what comes with the profession. You got to jump into the portal, but I still think that relationships matter, and you have to be relentless in the portal, and then you got to know the product in which you're selling.
Every year there's a portal. Yeah, right. Every year. That's. You sure you want to get back into this business?
Listen. At this point in my life, I can't go to law school. I can't be a doctor. That's it's just like the Army. You sign up for the Army. You have a chance to go to war. So this is what I signed up for, and it's war right now, and that's what I'm a battle.
All you basketball guys, man, my buddy Brian Ranson, all you guys in this, I go back and I think about Terry Truax. I mentioned him a couple weeks ago. I keep on my I have like a cork board with old memories and pictures. Greg, you're not up there, but you would be. And there's Terry Truax gave me John Wooden's pyramid. And it's autographed by John Wooden. It's a photostatic copy, as Terry would say. But I have it up there, and I have the rules for competitive leadership, the pyramid of competitive success. And Terry gave me that, and I think about Terry Truax coaching basketball all those years ago. Kirk, playing there and all.
Terry, he was a good man. He comes from. The Dean Smith
absolutely
tree.
Yeah.
And as we know, Coach Smith was he's one of the best. He left all of his players something in his will, and I talked to people about Coach Truax, and they said that he really, really cared about his
He was just such a beautiful guy, you know, and I had a young lady named Kelly Truax on 2 weeks ago from GBMC, not related. She gets asked all the time. I said, anybody ever ask you if you're related to Terry Truax? Take that as a compliment, because Terry's was one of my favorite people through all of this. So when I think of college coaches at that level and just how many have been in my home and how many have been with me and all that, I feel for all of you. And I said this to Scary a couple weeks ago, who I've known all these years at Towson. It's sort of your industry just got sort of wiped out in a different kind of way, and I worry about the end. I worry about it from a fan standpoint. I worry who's going to want to buy Maryland tickets when there's no association to the players. And I think that's the hardest part for me, because we all love basketball, right? We do.
Yeah, I was telling a buddy of mine the other day, like there's years of watching Keith Booth and Rodney Elliott for 3 and 4 years and growing up with them, and they're gone.
Oh yeah, that's gone.
Well, we all grew up the same way.
Well, I
three
think
of us.
I think at some point in time they'll regulate it. They'll come with contracts, whether it's 2 years, 3 years, and you'll have guys sticking around. That's what I think. You know, what will happen, I don't know.
Wild Wild West. Bino Ranson's here. My man Greg Szczepaniak is here. He's selling houses. He's selling basketball. I can say you're selling kids. The craziest thing that I remember about all of this was watching the Ravens preseason last summer, and Loxley had 3 kids down there, and they had clearly done a sponsorship with the Ravens. You know, the whole Ravens broadcast was, get your Terps tickets, buy your Terps, 1-800-TERPS, Terps. So all this stuff. And it was crazy, and I haven't had Loxley on in a while, and he swabbed for the Bone Marrow Red. She's a good man. And first time around Alabama, all that stuff. God bless Loxley. But he was down on the field with the players, and you're an old wrestling guy, and you probably were too. It reminded me of Captain Lou Albano. We're paying these kids good hard cash. We're paying these kids cash. And I was like, this looks like a wrestling shoot from
any rubber bands on his face
it
or
looked
anything?
like Classy Freddie Blassie. I'm like,
Your pencil neck aches.
and I was like, I'm watching. It's summertime. I'm like, no, don't talk about paying the. Oh, that's right, they're paying the kids, because for all of the years I was on, it's like gambling in sports now, right? Like, it's one thing to hold a lottery ticket up here. It's a whole different thing to look up and see the numbers in the action here, and to see everybody on their phone add on bet, and they're betting on baseball. And I'm thinking, the world's passing me by, Bino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I liked it better when I was hungover coaching you in a gym when you were 11 and dreaming of being a coach.
They were good times.
Well, yeah, good times too, man. That I'll never forget.
Good times, because Bino was getting the ball, right? Letting him do his thing,
absolutely.
right?
Great times. Let me change that.
I have spent the last 36 years thinking he's left-handed. He's not. He just dribbled left-handed.
Yeah.
Special player. Bino Ranson, good guy. He's got roots here in Turners and Dundalk. What's up, Winky?
Yeah, Norris Lane down there. Galley Baptist Church with my grandfather. That was his church.
Norris Lane, right by Drug City.
Yeah, that was my
Right by
grandfather.
Journeys, right there.
Yep.
Drug City, I missed my $1 off for the 30-pack of Miller Lite yesterday. They got a dollar off on Thursday.
You got to get your points. What's wrong with you? Chuck's coming over. Chuck's going to be my next guest. He runs the Drug City eatery over there.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, all right, we're in Dundalk. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Thanks for coming out, man.
I
I
know.
love you, kid.
Anytime.
50
any
years
place.
old, and I still call him kid.
All
Oh,
right.
I love
I
this
appreciate
guy.
you, Nestor, man.
I appreciate you,
anytime, man. I love doing this.
I
okay?
am so proud of you that it would make me cry. I mean
Thank
that.
you. I
Greg
appreciate
Szczepaniak here. I'm not proud of him. I'm proud of him because I run into the Rolling Stones and U2 concerts. Don't get up and drop the mic. What's
I'm
wrong
not.
with you? Let me take a break.
Okay.
I was such a terrible coach of you, man. I didn't listen to anything. Now you stand up. You're taller than me. I'm Nestor. He's Bino. We're WNST. Back for more from Costas. Stay with us.